Revenge is a dish best served cold. Mine has been cooling for 10 years and counting. I have been married to my husband for 20 years now. We have 2 kids, a 16-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old son. My husband is a high earner by middle-class standards. Strap in, folks, this is going to be a long story. 10 years ago, by complete coincidence, I discovered that my husband had been cheating on me with other men since before we got married. Living in a smallish town in the south of the USA, him coming out as gay would have serious consequences. I believe that fear is the only reason he hasn't come out to anyone. I found out he was cheating when he got sloppy and left a credit card bill in the pocket of a coat. When I went through it, I found all the signs of his unfaithfulness. There were payments to a hotel in a nearby county, restaurant bills, gifts, flowers, lubricant, and more. I started camping outside the hotel on days he told me he would be late, and I saw him bringing different men there. I'm skilled at compartmentalization and have developed a great poker face due to my upbringing in an abusive household. So I gave myself time to cool off and think about what to do next. The first thing I did was get an STD panel to ensure my safety. Fortunately, it came back negative. I then convinced him that we should use condoms, citing side effects from the pill. He agreed. After careful consideration, I made the decision not to confront him or leave him. He provided me with a luxurious lifestyle that I could never afford with just a high school diploma. We had hired help, regular spa days, country club membership, a new car every other year, and luxurious family vacations. Despite the cheating, he was a good father, a good partner, and excellent in bed. However, I was determined not to let him live a guilt-free life. That would be my revenge. I started small by planning great date nights and expressing to him that I felt our relationship had lost its spark. I occasionally dropped hints about cheating husbands and praised openly gay couples for their courage. On the other hand, I portrayed him as the perfect husband to everyone, especially when he could hear. The guilt gifts and weekly flowers poured in. This continued for years, and I could visibly see the weight of guilt on him. As for me, my upbringing in a commune with the concept of free love made it easier to ignore his infidelity. I considered myself in an open marriage, and since he satisfied me, I didn't feel the need for a partner of my own. Then, 4 years ago, he met the love of his life. He started seeing only one man. I seriously contemplated ending the charade, especially since I had started my own business and could support myself and my children while maintaining our lifestyle. But then he went and introduced his side piece to us. He brought him into our house and introduced him to our kids. Apparently he was a new friend he made while golfing. That was enough for me to continue tormenting him. He started hinting at moving to a more accepting state where he could come out more freely. I refused. I told him that my business was here, and I was not going to start over in another state. Also, the kids had their friends and extended family here. I wouldn't uproot them unfairly. Then he started trying to start arguments. I guess he wanted us to fight so that he could then ask for a divorce. I just stopped all those arguments in their tracks. I would just agree with whatever he said. He was right, I was wrong. And to make it up to him, how about a nice dinner and then some great intimate moments? He hated that. I knew from spying on his phone that being intimate with me felt like cheating on his boyfriend. I also knew that his boyfriend was pressuring him to leave me almost every day. He was caught between a rock and a hard place. Eventually, he turned to heavy drinking. That's when I decided enough was enough. I didn't want to ruin his health. Considering I grew up with an alcoholic father, and I didn't want that for my children. So I gathered all the evidence of his infidelity over the past 9 years. Photos with different men, conversations, his Grindr profile, and everything else. First, I hired a divorce attorney. Then, I sent some evidence to his employer. He had a morality clause in his contract and adultery violated it. As a cherry on top, I sent evidence to his church and relatives. It was like a bomb went off. He was fired, the congregation turned against him for cheating, his parents refused to take him in after I kicked him out, and he was publicly shamed in our small town. To top it off, his boyfriend ran out of town, and my husband couldn't follow him because he wanted to fight for custody of our kids. Now, almost a year later, I am a free woman. I got to keep the house, my car, and my business. He received 75% of the retirement and investment accounts, but he won't be paying alimony. I have full custody of the kids, and he has visitation rights. I also receive child support. He had to move 6 hours away to find a new job, and couldn't use his previous job as a reference. His relationship with his family is strained, his reputation in town is ruined, and the love of his life left him for good. My kids only tolerate him because I shielded them from the truth and emphasized that he is still a good father. I treated him with politeness and never spoke ill of him. I also had a lengthy talk with my kids about accepting their father's homosexuality, assuring them that it was okay and not his fault. I made it clear that the only wrong thing he did was hiding it from me. So, I suppose the consequences of his cheating were years of guilt followed by a ruined life.